Hey guys, this is Sebastian. Welcome back to part 5 of the 2D character in Blender from scratch. Today I'm going to look at two things. Firstly, I'll show you what I've done in terms of applying the mouth shapes to a bone structure, so that then by doing this we're able to animate it using keyframes and using a bone to drive both the outline and the interior mouth shape, so then it all works cohesively in one, and we don't have to be beholden to the timeline, which is handy. So then we don't have to worry about it going outside of the timeline as it was previously. Just firstly, I'd like to say to Goofy King, who was messaging me in the chat, in the live chat yesterday, I just wanted to apologize. For some reason, the YouTube studio wasn't showing me the messages you were sending me in real time, and it didn't update until the end of the stream yesterday. For the question that you asked about AutoRig Pro, yes, it is a paid add-on on the market. I can't say exactly how much it is. I'm not too sure at the moment, but I know that a couple times a year it does go on special. It might be like Black Friday sort of sales, but it's a good one to look out for. I find that it's very useful. But I will show you how to do the Rigify one as well. I still think it's probably the AutoRig Pro one's a little bit easier to get a hold of, like as in to work with. But it's always good to know that you have the free option, which comes with Blender, as in built in, the Rigify version. It's good to use that one as well, I guess. So what I'll show you first is this. So I'll link in the description a video that I got this system from. And basically, the way that this works is this arrow is in itself a bone, and when we move it in the z-axis, which we've locked it off to, you'll see that it actually, depending on which mouth shape you point at, it will animate those mouths. Okay. Now, the way that it was originally demonstrated in the video that I found this in, it was a little bit easier because they were only working with single images for each texture, but I had to kind of adapt it a little bit because we do have the outline and we have the interior of the mouth. Not too hard, actually pretty easy to do, but let's have a look at the actual system. So we have to go into the actual characters shader for this. Now you'll probably see here that I've cleaned things up a little bit, because we originally started off with the eyes and then we added the mouth, and it ended up being this long stream of nodes, which can be a little bit cumbersome. But what I've done is I've created a group for the mouth outline, the mouth interior, and these are driven by these drivers that are actually manipulated by the Z location of our bone here. Okay, so if we actually tab into each one, you'll notice that we have obviously the group input, the group output, those we don't have to worry about. Now, what I've done differently to what we originally had was, originally we had it as an image sequence, and then we ran it using the image sequence. But what I've actually done is I've imported each one of the textures independently, still running off that original UV map. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, because we've only created 4. And what I've done is I've added 3 mix shaders because we've got 4, so the first 2 go into that one, and then that one feeds into the secondary mix shader with the third coming into the second slot, and so on. And that will go out to our original color, which is out there. But then we have up here, what I originally had was a value node that was out here. And so that's actually represented out there, as you can see it through here. We have an add node and 3 greater thans, and we kind of feed the add to all of them. And as you can see here, the threshold for the greater thans, we got 1, 2, and 3, because it'll go from the 0 to the 1, 2, 3. So 0 in this case being the mouth closed, which isn't really visible too much there. It is there, but it's extremely thin. What I might actually do so it's a little bit more visible is come out of here, go into here. Now when I go into this texture, change this, and instead of having the mouth interior, which is extremely thin and impossible to see, what I'll do is I'll go to the mouth outline, and now we have to change it because it's upside down. Actually, they're all upside down. So what I'll do is, just the easiest way to do it is 3, rotate 180, easy, and rotate Y 180. That one isn't because I shifted that one before, but I didn't notice that these were as well. So shift those. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's the shape that was in. Let's test it out. So we'll go back into the pose mode, and oops, won't hide that. And we brought back in more than we should have. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Move that on the. Yep, that's it. Perfect. See, now we kind of matched it all up. Perfect. Okay, so what I'll do now is get out of pose mode, go back in here, and we'll go into our shader. Let's go back into here, tab in. So we've got the greater than nodes feeding into the factor of them, which will drive which one it is that we're showing according to what the value of this is. Now I've done that for both the interior and the exterior of the mouth, so the outline and the interior of the mouth. And then I'll show you the driver that we have in here. So it's using the rig, and inside the rig it's using the mouth selector, which is this bone here. So we've got the mouth selector, the mouth base, and then what's this one? Let's see. So I've created this bone, okay, so that's the mouth animation base, that's the mouth selector base, and that's the actual mouth selector. And so what I've done is I've parented this one to the mouth base, this one to the mouth selector base, and then this structure here, which is literally just a plain arrayed, I've parented it to the mouth selector base, and then that way whenever I move this one, it'll follow it, this will follow it as well, so we don't lose that. And because this is set to, with the bone constraint, we've set it to local space. No matter where I move it, it's going to affect the mouth in just the right way. It's not going to shift and do something odd. Now, obviously, we can limit this if we want, but I won't do that now because obviously this isn't enough mouths. So we are going to have to add quite a few more mouths if we want to do like lip syncing or like expressions. And so we don't want to do that. We don't want to limit it just yet, because I will be adding more mouths to this and probably reducing the size so it isn't, one giant tower of mouth shapes. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much how that system is. But again, when this stream is done, I'll link the original tutorial in the description. And it's quite a handy tutorial to go through in order to set this up. That way we don't have the issue we were having where the mouth shapes were kind of going off the rails and everything would turn black or like completely see through. So yeah, that's fine there. So let's go back into pose mode, and what I'll do is I'll hide this one because we don't really need that, and we'll leave that one as it is and that one as it is. What I'll also do is I might go into pose mode, hide this one, come back in here, hide this one, because the character's not really going to have weird eyes going everywhere for now. We can always bring it back if we want. So that's all we need for that. What I'm going to do is we'll hide these because they are going to get in the way. Don't really need them. I mean, no, it's not really doing anything, so let's get them out of here. Right. Okay, so that's where we're at with the character so far. And let's see. Now what I might do is do a Rigify model. So let's actually check, make sure that I've got Rigify activated. I'm not too sure if I do. Rigify is on. Yes, cool. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll select our character and object. Select the character, go to Auto Rig Pro, and I'll save this, but I'll also save it as alien character 2. Right. So what I'll be able to do now is select the character, unbind it, and want to unbind everything from it. Let's see if we move the rig by selecting the base. Anything moves? Yep, the eyes are moving for some reason. And so what we'll do is go there. It mustn't be going through here, so let's actually check. No. Okay. So let's go to parent, clip parents. Let's try that again. That's it. Now I'm not going to delete this because it is a very handy rig that's already pretty much set up. We don't want to lose that because then we'd have to do it all over again, because I will be going back to the Auto Rig Pro version. So we'll hide the arrow and mouth selector for now. We don't need that. And this, we will hide it. We won't hide the eye bone just yet because we actually do need that. Alright. So if we go here to the first bone section, the rig section, and we generate a rig, let's actually make sure. Yep, our alien body has no rigs attached to it. just in case. I'm not sure what it would do, but I can't imagine it's great. So I've hidden the character, the original one. The original rig from Auto Rig Pro. Now let's select this and generate a rig. And it did nothing. And where is this? No. Alright, let's revert. Alright, since we're in the second one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the actual rig. And yes, I know that it's deleted what was driving that, but it's fine because, again, I'm just doing this purely to see what we get from the actual order from the Rigify rig. So delete that hierarchy. Make sure you don't just click delete. You do click delete the hierarchy, because if you do just delete, you'll end up with like 1,000 individual objects just free floating in there, and then you'll have to delete all of them. It's a bit of a pain. All right. So let's see. That's fine. All right, we'll just hide that. And let's try again. Oh no, I know what I was doing wrong now. Yep. Alright, so this is how we do this. Let's just scale it up. Is it scaled through here, or it might be scaled through here actually? No. Scale it out here. Let's put this on so we can see through it. Go front on. Now we pretty much have to do the exact same thing we did with the other one. I'll scale it up just a touch more so the shoulders are in the right spot. Now we don't need all of this stuff, so we need to get rid of quite a few of these things in here. So let's go to edit mode, and what we will do is we will get rid of the face. We don't need the face for obvious reasons. We have our own bone set up for the face. Now for the fingers, we can get rid of the pinky. Delete the bones. We've got 3 fingers just like the other one. Yep. Let's get rid of that. We don't need the chest bones or the breast bones. We don't need that. Feet are fine. We can get rid of those. Because he doesn't have ears. Now if you've got ears and you do need those bones, like if you want to keep the face structure, you're more than welcome to. It's just that it doesn't apply to this character itself. So that one's a spine. Then we've got the face. I don't know. I think that the spine's the one that we need, obviously. But I think the face is one that we can actually get rid of, because we're doing a 2D face. I believe the face is the one that we can delete. Let's save it first, then delete it. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Alright, so now we just need to align everything. Make sure we've got our X on. So then we can go front facing. Try and center this as well as possible. As you can see with the shading there, that's obviously where the elbow is. Get the hand roughly where it's meant to be. So we're basically going to be doing exactly what we did yesterday. Oops, get rid of that. So let's No. Local median. There we go. We'll do that in a second. We'll do everything that we can that's front on first. And make sure that that doesn't go below the groin area. Okay. Put this at the knees, midway through the ankle. Okay, that one. And alright, so this one, we can leave it where it is, but we just need to stretch it out so it covers the entire foot width. So that's our rotation bone again. And what else? Alright, let's switch to the side for now. Hey Goofy King, welcome back. Sorry again about not seeing your questions yesterday. For some reason this thing was glitching out and it wasn't showing me your questions until after the stream had ended already. So we'll shift this back, give it a bit of a bow. Thanks. Yeah, I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it this time. And bring that out there. And you notice that I'm leaving a bit of a, just a bit of a curve, so then that way it's, you know, we can control, make sure that the knee doesn't bend the wrong way when we go to animate it. We can shift that one back. And now the spine will have to move back at least, not all the way to the back, but at least far enough where it's not like, you know, your bending isn't right at the front of the torso. Want it roughly around there. Now this one, just be careful because if you don't grab both of those circles, it will screw this up. So if I grab one, you'll see it separates it. We want it to stay together. Let's go over here. And the head, we'll just finish it at the top. So what's that? Spine 5. Got to find the neck. Now I'm pretty sure this is where the neck is actually. So what I'll do is, I'll bring this up just a touch. And that one. And then the third one is where the neck is. From memory. I haven't used this in a little bit. Yeah, so as I was mentioning earlier, with Auto Rig Pro, you have to, that's the bought or paid for app that you can get from the Blender market. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but it's definitely worth the investment if you have the money for it. If not, the Rigify rig that I'm using now is quite handy, and it is free because it comes with Blender built in. So yeah, just depends on, like, if you're willing to dole out the cash for the add-on, then I definitely would recommend it, but it's not 100% necessary. You can get away with using this, or if you learn how to make your own rigs, probably even better, I guess, because then you can sell them to people like me. And let's line this up. Again, it'd be great if you took your time doing this. I am just plowing through it because, again, I'm not going to be using this rig. Yeah, unfortunately, with all these what's it called, add-ons, it does start adding up. They can get pretty expensive. I mean, nowhere near as expensive as if you were buying something for, let's say, 3ds Max or Maya or something. But yeah, I don't know. I find it to be worth it. Also because you're kind of supporting small developers, small software developers, which is always nice. And plus, I believe that a certain amount of what you spend on the Blender market actually goes towards developing Blender, which is also great because, as we've seen in the last couple of years, the development's been insane. It's really pushing this app beyond anything we could have imagined a few years ago. So that's always handy. Alright. So again, my favorite part, not doing the fingers. I find this the fingers to be the most finicky part of setting up the rig, but it comes in handy if you know how to do it and you do it properly, simply because everything ends up being a little bit easier. You don't have any issues with bending later on. It's good to take your time with it. Okay. What will I do next? I have some ideas, some other character ideas that I have in mind. But I'll see. I want to kind of perfect this character simply, not perfect it, but like get it animation ready, so I know that I can use it for what's it called? Just like as a mascot for this YouTube channel. But I do have other characters because, like I said, I love telling stories and I want to get into doing some more animations. And so yeah, we've got quite a few character ideas. So we'll see. But I'll definitely keep you posted because I wanna document the process the whole way. I don't like the idea of just being one of those people that just hide away in a bunker for 6 months to a year and not show anything to anyone. I don't see the point in it, really. So yeah, you'll definitely see the process. So if you're patient with me and you stick around, you'll see it all come together. Let's see. All right. Now let's check out the axes as well. And you notice how much easier that is. We've got the Z-axis pointing the right way the entire time. They're all pointing perfectly. That's the only thing about AutoRig Pro that kind of shits me up the wall, was that it's a little bit harder to line everything up, and then once you do, you have to twist all the axes because yeah, everything's all over the place. So we'll just turn that off and get out of there. Now I'm not too sure if we had to apply that, but we're about to see. So let's save that, select that, and we will generate the rig. There's our rig. We'll select this and hide it. how to create. Do I know how to create magic VFX like with neon stuff? Are you talking about as in cartoon stuff, or in terms of like VFX for like movies? Because if you're talking about movies, then yes. If you're talking about animation stuff, then yes. But I haven't gotten to that part yet. But I will, because that's definitely something that I want to do, because I love that sort of stuff. Like Doctor Strange. Oh, like movie stuff? Yeah. I can do that sort of stuff. I have in the past. Yeah, I know Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange is from. I can, but I don't really. I'm not really going to do this channel about VFX stuff. At least I don't think so. I might do something along the lines of VFX for animation if it comes to it. But yeah, not for movies. All right. Is it hard or simple? It's an interesting question. It depends on what you're trying to do. The hardest part of VFX, in my opinion, is tracking footage. Like Blender's really good at tracking footage, but sometimes it does. Yeah, it's extremely finicky work. It takes a lot of time. Like I know in the bigger productions, they have people dedicated to literally just match moving, and so when you have to do that as an independent or a freelancer, it's a lot of work. So I'll get rid of. No, that's fine. We don't need to get rid of that. So let's go here. Now there's one that I need to activate. So what I'll do is I'll go into that. That's the one. And Control P with automatic weights. Fingers crossed. Let's shut that down. Most VFX artists, most of them use Maya. Well, that's the most commonly used app. You've got quite a few more. I just prefer to use Blender. Well, like the fact that it's free doesn't hurt. But the other reason I like to use Blender is I love modeling, like 3D modeling, and I've found that between Blender, Maya, or 3ds Max, the modeling in Blender is probably the most intuitive that there is. People might argue that that's not the case, but for me, it has been. All right. So from what I can see, we've got a pretty solid binding, as you would. The binding's pretty solid. All right. So let's. Okay. So in order to bind it, what we did was select the rig, select the character, exactly as we did with the other one, and then just Control P, and we did automatic weights. So it's not here anymore because we've already done it. But at the end of the day, the rig is pretty much going to do exactly what the Auto Rig Pro does. But it just depends on which one you find easiest to use. So yeah, it's pretty similar in terms of what it will achieve. You're not gonna find that this rig is like drastically different. But then you've got, where are we? So this allows you to select or hide different ones, different parts of the rig, so it's not so messy. We can get rid of pretty much anything we don't want to see. Also, we're able to switch between the IK and the FK pretty easily using this as well. So then we can switch to the FK or the IK directly, and yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, it's a pretty simple setup. Probably a little bit more simple than Auto Rig Pro when it comes to the fingers, but there's a reason why Auto Rig Pro is slightly better, and that is when it comes to animation. So when it comes to animation, adding mocap data, Auto Rig Pro has a system where you can just auto match. Where are we? So we can import a BVH, which I'll do in a future episode. You can import an animation with either a what's it called? So you can either import an FBX or a BVH from, like, there's heaps of libraries around the internet, and you can import that as your source armature, target it to this armature, well, not this one specifically, but the Auto Rig Pro one, and then retarget it, so then everything that the source one does, your armature will do. So if you've got to do a run cycle, things like that, it makes it a lot easier to just, like, copy and paste from one to the other and just get up and running a lot faster. You probably could do it with this. I'm not entirely sure how, but I'm sure that it's not impossible to do with this. So yeah. Alright, this one's probably going to be a short one. So are there any other questions that you might have towards rigging, or specifically Rigify or Auto Rig Pro, or even the mouth setup that we had earlier? Just put it in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Again, I will be putting the link to the other tutorial where I got the system for the face. I'll put that in the description so you can go check that out. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It kind of helps to build up the numbers, and then that way I know if you guys are liking this, or if you want to see something different. If there's anything else you want me to touch base on, let me know. And yeah, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.